Coming up next, RV camping YouTube videos. How are they made? Well, they're made with high-tech equipment used by skilled professionals. This is a video that I've thought about doing for quite some time, but kept talking myself out of it. But some viewers of late have been asking me what kind of gear we use to make our videos, and I finally gave in. So that's what today's special report is: the gear that we use to make our videos. And everything that I show you today, there will be links to down below if you want to look into them yourself. What do we start with? I guess we'll start with the main camera that we use. This is a GoPro Hero 7 Black. This is our primary vlogging camera. We probably shoot 2/3 to 3/4 of everything you see with this camera right here. Yes, there have been several newer models of GoPro since, but this was our second GoPro. And it's so comfortable in this GoPro shorty grip that I've attached. Just, got a little mini tripod if I want to set it down and do something. I have a little omnidirectional mini microphone here. I'm using the GoPro audio adapter, of course. And it's just such a versatile camera that I don't foresee us changing out to one of the newer GoPro models until this one just dies. Now, that being said, a couple of years ago, I kind of drank the Kool-Aid when the GoPro Hero 9 was announced, and I bought one. It's a fine camera, good stabilization, just like the 7, and maybe even a little bit better stabilization. But once I got it, that was a GoPro redesign, so the batteries are different, the accessories are different. And it just got to be where I'm already used to the 7 and I have all these accessories. I'm not going to just change my primary camera for the sake of it being newer. So we now have this GoPro 9 and we use it a fair amount, but certainly not as much as we use the 7. But, it's a good backup camera. And hey, when the day comes the 7 dies, that'll probably become the primary vlogging camera. The camper cam footage that you folks see from mounted to the top of the camper looking down over towards the road, that is shot with our very first GoPro. This is a GoPro Hero 5. This really doesn't use for much else than camper cam. I take that back. When we do cooking videos, this is the over the stove camera. And there's been a couple of times that I've put it on a tripod and done long exposure takes with it, but 99% of the time, this is camper cam. I keep it up on the roof in one of the GoPro buckle clips that come with every GoPro camera. I've got a piece of Velcro tape up there holding that in place. I've got another piece of Velcro tape holding this battery bank that I keep connected to the Hero 5 when it's on the roof, because the battery, probably won't last half an hour if you're lucky, and we're on the road easily 2 hours if we go 60 miles down the road. So we need the extra juice, and this has worked out fine. And the Velcro, this is industrial strength Velcro, and it stays rock hard in place, and everything's been fine. Haven't had any water damage from it. It's rained on it a couple of times, but even with this door open, it's water resistant enough that it's not presenting any problems. So this is camper cam. Now for hiking wildlife shots, we zoom in on a squirrel or a bird or a deer, I use this. This is a Sony FDR AX53. This is a 4K camcorder that I do not shoot 4K with. 4K is limited to 20, no, I think it's 30 frames a second, but whatever it is, it's not 60, and I tend to shoot everything in 60 frames a second and then go down from there. So this is now shooting in 1080 at 60 frames a second. And this is, I'll do a little zoom on me, looking at me like that. and then it can come back, and it can even go over here, and it can do that, and it could come back and then do that. Now, this is the quality of image is very good. I'm very pleased with it. The stabilization art is great because there's actually a gimbal inside the lens housing. You can, when you move the camera, you can feel it shifting inside the chassis. And because of that, it's a fairly fragile camera. You really have to be careful when I'm using this. This is not meant for action. The only knock I have on it, and it's not the camera's fault, it's my fault. This view screen is small enough and in bright sunlight almost impossible to see, especially with my horrible eyesight. I just, more often than not, when I see something, hey, let's try to get a zoom of that, I pull this out and I aim, and I'm literally hoping for the best. More often than not, I cannot see what I'm in the viewfinder, what I'm aiming at. So I'm hoping I get a good shot. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, and the ones that I don't, you guys never see. But again, it's my fault, not the camera's fault. So this is our zoom camera, and I'm happy with it. Cabin cam, we call it the dash cam, which I do not have in here with us because it's in the cab of the truck. It's mounted. It is a Vantrue N4 3-channel dash cam system. Got that about a year ago to replace this. This was what we used as cabin cam at first. This is the GoPro Hero 5 Session, which is no longer made. This worked very well for a cabin cam. The problem was in this mount, when it's attached to the windshield. If Jesse and I are talking to you, then when we stop and I want to show you the road, I have to physically, disconnect, take him out, turn him around, put him back in, and hit play, which is dangerous while you're driving down the road pulling a camper. So I finally found out about the Vantrue system. It is not as good an image quality as the GoPro Session. The Session shoots in 2.7K. The dash cam, the Vantrue dash cam, maxes out at I think it's 1440 and then 1080 on the interior and rear facing cameras, and it's limited to 30 frames a second. So I'm taking a hit on image quality, but it's worth it to me for the convenience and for the multitude of angles. I mean, now instead of just us and then when I can turn it around the road, well, now I've always got us and the road, and even sometimes back behind us. So that's been a big improvement, and I'll drop a few shots of it in here so you can see what I'm talking about. Because the microphones on that dash cam are horrible, we have been trying to record audio on this. This is a Zoom H1N digital recorder, audio recorder. And we've been trying to get audio on this that I would then sync up with the footage in post-production. As you can tell from the audio quality of our videos, in-cabin stuff, the last year, we've not been having very good luck. That said, I think we've finally figured out the problem. There were some settings on this that I was ignorant of, didn't know to check. I have recently done some test footage and gotten much better results, so I'm hoping that the next video that we use this, you will hear better results. So this has been, it should have been and will be a good addition to our kit of gear. We have connected to these more often than not. These, you'll notice this, let me get a close for you. These are, and on top of the Hero 9 is the other part. These are Comica Boom U2. Let me start over. Comica Boom X-U U2 wireless lavalier mics. They're 2 channels, so we've got 2 transmitters. I always have one. Jesse has one. And you'll see us in the cab of the truck. Sometimes we have them on. And then the receiver on the camera takes the audio and puts it onto the video footage. Those have been great. We have used these not only trying to use them in the cabin of the truck, but also using them on either this or the Hero 9 while vlogging, while we're hiking. That makes a better presentation. You guys get to hear both of us as we're kibitzing and dropping pearls of wisdom. I don't have to worry about making sure that the microphone is pointed directly at Jessie to catch her and then turn around. We can just speak normally and the audio goes right into the camera. So that's been a wonderful addition to the kit. Don't see how we could live without those things. Camera-wise, I think we're running down to the end. Under the heading that the best camera in the world is the one you have with you, this is the one that we pretty much always have with us, and you probably do too. This is my iPhone 12 Pro. Jessie has an iPhone 13 Pro Max. This takes pretty good video, and in a pinch, we have shot video with this. Our last video, the Sesquicentennial State Park video, all of that football game footage that you saw was shot with this iPhone. If we're someplace that is particular about cameras, cell phones are 99 times out of 100 permissible, and there you go. And as you all know, iPhones, and I guess some of the higher end Android cameras too, but definitely iPhones are some of the best cameras on the market these days. Forget about just phones. Visual wise, they do great work. Audio, blech, but I can work around that. And I guess the last camera, well, no, not the last, got a couple more. One of the last cameras is what I'm looking at right now, and I'm going to show you closer up. This is a Canon EOS Rebel T7i. This was actually the first camera that I bought right before we started the channel. Before we were even thinking about doing YouTube videos, I wanted to get back into still photography. I was in photography in high school and college and wanted to get back into it, so I bought this DSLR with the intention of taking stills, and then completely unrelated to that decision, we got our first camper and started camping, and then the idea about vacation videos turned into YouTube videos, turned into videography. So admittedly, I have shot very few stills with this SLR. I've shot some video if Jessie and I are doing a how-to video or a presentation of some sort that we're sitting in the house speaking to you. We're probably speaking to this camera right here. Good image quality, autofocus sometimes I have to fight with, but it shoots in 1080, it shoots at 50 frames a second, so that's close enough. All right, I think the last, nope, not the next to last camera I'll tell you about is this little fellow here, the Insta360 One X2. Got this a couple months ago and have not had much opportunity to use it. I've been experimenting with it a little bit. I did shoot a little bit of stuff that you saw in the Sesquicentennial State Park video. Never thought that I would get one of these. I've seen other folks use them and do some of those zoom shots. You see they zoom out and everything becomes a globe and real warp shots. And I've never been all that crazy about those. But as I've learned more about it and saw some other uses for it, I began to realize that I could use it for things like pseudo drone shots, with when it's mounted on the selfie stick and hold it way up in the air, or shots like behind me, like somebody's like you guys are trailing behind us while we're walking. So I'm going to do some more stuff like that, and of course I'm still experimenting and learning. But that's the newest edition, and I'm still getting used to it. But I think it's going to yield some interesting visuals for you. Now the last camera is the one that I admit I have used the least, and it's not completely by choice. This is the DJI Mavic Pro first generation. I got this not too long after we started YouTubing, almost 4 years ago, and I probably have flown it less than 15 times in the almost 4 years. And again, it's not my choice. This device, these batteries have to be charged fully before you can fly. They only last about 20 minutes in flight. So I've got 3 batteries, have to make sure they're all charged up before we start. Just about every time I crank it up, there's a firmware update. I live in such a drone hostile part of the country. Right outside of Augusta, Georgia, we've got 2 good-sized regional airports, a county airport nearby, a major military installation, a nuclear power plant, all within 25 to 50-mile radius of me. So it's very hard to find a place to fly it often enough that I can learn it. And there's so much this device can do that I know it can do it, but I haven't learned how to do it or done it enough that I'm comfortable with it. And it's because I can't find enough time to fly it and get used to it. If I'd have to load it up one morning and drive off somewhere deeper into the South Carolina side of the border to find some farm country somewhere and be on somebody else's land, and you have to deal with that. And it's just, I have not had the opportunity to use it as much as I had. The couple of times that I have used it and gotten footage, I've really liked it. There's been a couple of videos we've had some drone footage in, and I've liked what I've gotten. I wish I could do it more. Now for editing, I'm in the Apple ecosystem, iPhone, iPad. I use Final Cut is my editing software. I have never used Adobe Premiere Pro. I know that's the other big editing suite amongst YouTube video content creators. It's a subscription software service, and I'm not interested in paying for something month to month to month. Final Cut, I bought it. It's mine forever. That's it. It's done. I get the updates whenever they come. The program's mine forever. I don't have to worry about forking out money on an ongoing basis. And again, it's an Apple product. I'm using Apple hardware. I edit. When I shoot footage on the road, I tend to come back to the camper that evening and I dump all the footage onto an external hard drive using my M1 14-inch MacBook Pro. Then that kind of does all of the transcoding and mutating and massaging of the footage that Final Cut has to do before you can really kind of edit with it. And then when I get home, I take that hard drive off of the MacBook and take it up to my Mac Mini upstairs. I have a 2018, I think it is, the last of the Intel i7 Mac Minis, and then hook that hard drive up and I edit on that. I've got 2 monitors, and it's much easier on the eyes and spread out, and I can sit down in more comfortable environments and think and edit that way. And folks, that's the gear. I mean, of course, I've got other media mods and selfie sticks and tripods and knick-knack caboodle-boodles. Again, links to all this stuff down below if you're interested and want to research them yourself. The Amazon links, of course, are connected to our Amazon affiliate account. If you happen to buy, we get a little something off of your purchase to help keep the channel going. Hey, if you want to hit that super thanks button down there too, that'd be a big help. That would result in a few pennies too, and would help an SD card or a tank of gas here and there. And if you liked this video, and I really hope you did, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe. It helps the channel a lot, helps feed the algorithm, gets the channel pushed out to more folks, and hopefully bring in some more viewers. And social media, please keep checking there when we're not putting out videos, see if we're up to anything that we're letting you know about. And what else do I need to tell you? The blog, liveandlearnrv.com. Some of Jesse's recipes are there, updates about what we may be doing, video notices, things like that. So that's on the blog too. I guess with that, that wraps up this special report. Again, hope you found it interesting. And until we meet again, please keep living and learning.